Hi Aries, welcome to your love reading for May 2019. This is Elizabeth from channeledguidance.com. I've already shuffled the deck, so let's go ahead and begin. This is for confirmation, but first let's get you 9 cards from this deck. This is a love reading for the sign of Aries for May 2019. The first card that you have, Aries, is the 6 of Wands. Love reading for the sign of Aries for May. Ace of Swords. Love reading for the sign of Aries for May. You have the Queen of Wands. Love reading for the sign of Aries for May. 3 of Wands. Love reading for the sign of Aries for May. 6 of Swords. Love reading for the sign of Aries for May. 7 of Pentacles. Love reading for the sign of Aries for May. Queen of Swords. Love reading for the sign of Aries for May. This is a Wheel of Fortune. Love reading for the sign of Aries for May. And the 10 of Swords. What's the most important thing that Aries needs to hear about their love life for May 2019? The message that you have, Aries, is justice. So for some of you, you might be seeing a relationship really fall into place. Sometimes justice can represent an apology. A partner could be trying to make things up to you, but usually when it comes up, something has not been fair to you. You've not been treated fairly, but again, you could be receiving an apology for this. So we'll come back to this card in a minute to see how it ties in with the rest of the reading. Also, if you would like to get a private reading with me, just go to my website, channeledguidance.com. I'll put a link down below, also a link to my Facebook, and you should be watching this on YouTube channel, Channeled Guidance Tarot. Okay, so let's see what you have going on here. You start with the 6 of Wands. You have the Ace of Swords and the Queen of Wands. So your energy is here, the sign of Aries. Of course, if you have a partner or an ex who's also a fire sign, so Leo or Sagittarius, or also an Aries, this represents them. What I see here is there's perhaps a change of mind around a relationship. The Ace of Swords can represent somebody changing their mind. Maybe somebody decided to leave a relationship or decided to leave a marriage and they're changing their mind. The Ace of Swords can just represent clarity. Somebody maybe finally understands how they feel about you. You do have victory around this. You have the 6 of Wands. So there is victory because somebody has changed their mind, or there is victory because somebody sees the truth. This just represents a clear head. You know, perhaps even kind of a mental breakthrough. Everything changes because somebody is finally seeing things clearly. So again, this could be perhaps an ex communicating with you because they finally understand how they really feel about you, or if somebody finally, because it comes with victory, this is positive for you. So somebody has changed their mind and this has removed some type of obstacle in your path. Now in the second row here, you have the 3 of Wands, the 6 of Swords, and the 7 of Pentacles. So, I mean, what I see here, again, you have the 6 of Swords lined up with the Ace of Swords. So, again, somebody has changed their mind. There's a new perspective, and this has created movement in your love life. The 6 of Swords. This means that you're moving away from your problem. So, this definitely ties in with the 6 of Wands. You're leaving a difficult time in your love life behind you. The 6 of Swords can even be that you're leaving a difficult person behind you. So, if you were leaving a relationship, this means that you're going to be fine. You're moving forward, but for most of you, it just means that you're leaving a difficult time behind you. You do have the 3 of Wands next to it, so this can be that maybe you're waiting for this to happen. The 3 of Wands usually means that you've been waiting, and you're not waiting in vain. You're waiting for that perfect opportunity. There can definitely be, because I'm trying to tie this in with the first row here. There can definitely be a relationship that's had, you know, a few problems, because you have the 7 of Pentacles. Usually when this card comes up, someone is doing a lot of thinking. This is not a card of action. So this is not a card of action. This is not a card of action. Someone could be doing a lot of thinking about you. So again, this ties in with the Ace of Swords. This is someone who's weighing their options. This is someone who's thinking, what should I do next? They're being very careful about this. So for some of you, you could be waiting to hear what someone wants from you. Are they going to stay married with you? Are they going to stay in a relationship with you? Because someone is trying to decide what to do. But I do see clarity here. Someone finally understands what they truly want. And you do have victory, so I feel like this is in your favor, Aries. And I see you leaving your problems behind you here with the 6 of Swords. You're moving into a much healthier place in your love life. Now down here, let's see what you have here. You have the Queen of Swords. So for some of you, an air sign is really significant. This would be Gemini, Libra, or Aquarius. Male or female, sun, moon, or rising. It can also be you if you have a moon or rising and an air sign. But sometimes I also see the King and the Queen of Swords when someone is not in touch with their emotions and they're really doing a lot of thinking and analyzing. So this definitely ties in with the Seven of Pentacles. So for some of you, you may not be really connecting with a partner right now because they're kind of distant emotionally. They're really, you know, kind of analyzing things, and perhaps this is really taking its toll on you. You also have the, what they call in this deck, the Fortune Fairy, but this is the Wheel of Fortune. So this is things changing for you. So you have movement and change here and movement here. And this is always, the Six of Swords always means that you're leaving your problems behind you. So you have the Wheel of Fortune telling you that May is a very lucky time for you. This can be a time where maybe you're attracting a new partner. For those who are single, there could be an air sign coming in for you. There could be an air sign coming back to your life. This is just movement and a positive change in your love life. I feel like, you know, you're finally moving on because you have the Ten of Swords. The Ten of Swords is all about, as scary as the card looks, it is a card that the worst is behind you. So, I mean, seeing the Six of Swords and the Ten of Swords, I feel like the sign of Aries has been through something really difficult. I feel like you've been waiting, you know, the Three of Wands right here. You've been waiting for maybe someone to come back. You've been waiting for someone to figure out what they want from you, how they feel about you. And the Ten of Swords is saying that it's time to move on. And I feel like, you know, you're moving on in a positive way because you do have the Wheel of Fortune right next to it. This is, you know, this is change for the better. So I feel like you're finally leaving a very kind of unhealthy time in your love life behind you. Let's get a few more. What other messages are there for the sign of Aries for May? You have Death. What other messages are there for the sign of Aries for May? You have the Queen of Cups. What other messages are there for the sign of Aries for May? And you have the Empress. Okay, so I pulled two major arcanas for you. You have two major arcanas with the Queen of Cups in the middle. So for some of you, here we go, here's another person. You have a water sign. Cancer, Scorpio, or Pisces, male or female, sun, moon, or rising. Again, this can also be you if you have a moon or rising in a water sign. So what I see around this person, again, this is significant. It can also be someone who's very much in touch with their emotions or someone who's very emotional right now. It's either you or your partner. What I see around this person is very positive because I see a big change. You've got Death, which means that there is some type of huge kind of life-altering event around your love life. That is going to make you extremely happy because you have the Empress. So the Empress is even better than the Lover's card because this does represent an extremely fulfilling relationship. She represents love, marriage, children, good fortune, abundance. This means that you're getting it all when it comes to your love life because there is some big change here. And it can definitely be, I'm starting to see a theme in your reading here, Aries. I feel like there's a very positive change in your love life because somebody has changed their mind. Somebody finally knows how they feel about you. They finally have a clear head. Perhaps this person did a lot of thinking because you have the Seven of Pentacles here. The Seven of Pentacles means that someone did a lot of thinking. They were very careful and maybe you waited for this person for a long time. Now I want to go back to the main energy because I have not mentioned it yet, which was Justice. So I can definitely see why this card is here. Justice means that you were done wrong. Perhaps this person, you know, that needed a lot of time to think. Maybe they bailed on you. Maybe this was just really painful for you. Again, this is something that you found it really hard to move on. Justice means that this was not fair to you in some way. But this is an apology. So I feel like someone has finally seen the light here. They have finally seen the truth. They know how they feel about you. You've been waiting, but you're finally leaving this difficult time behind you. Again, you're getting everything for that. You know, as far as the Empress, this can be that maybe you're finally getting the commitment that you want, but for some of you, this can represent marriage or, you know, a long-term relationship. Okay, let's get a few cards from the confirmation deck. What other messages are there for the sign of Aries for May? You have the Nine of Swords. What other messages are there for the sign of Aries for May? You have the Two of Pentacles. What other messages are there for the sign of Aries for May? And And you have the Four of Cups. What's the most important thing that Aries needs to hear about their love life for May 2019? And we have another person. So there's a lot of people in this reading. You have an earth sign. So Taurus, Virgo, or Capricorn. Male or female, sun, moon, or rising. And whenever I do a reading like this where there's so many people, because I mean you have, okay, let's start here. You have an earth sign here. Taurus, Virgo, or Capricorn. You have, I mean, this can be you. You have a fire sign, Aries, Leo, or Sagittarius. You have a water sign, Cancer, Scorpio, or Pisces. And then you also have an air sign, Gemini, Libra, or Aquarius. It can be for some of you that maybe other people are interfering in your relationship. It can be directly as in like another person, another woman, another man. But it can even just be someone is influencing your relationship in some way. Some of you may know who it is. Some of you may not. It can also just be that since this is a general reading, that the cards really want to communicate that, yes, this doesn't mean you. That's why there's so many different people, because so many different people watch these readings. Okay, so let's look at these three. So you have the Nine of Swords. So I feel like Aries, you know, you're doing a lot of stressing. You're imagining the worst. And for some of you, you could be imagining the worst because perhaps someone has asked for some space. Someone has, you know, is trying to figure out what they want from you, how they feel about you with the Seven of Pentacles here. This is, you know, very much kind of being paranoid and being on edge. You're very anxious and you're terrified of what could happen. You also have the Two of Pentacles, which means that you might feel like your love life or your marriage is kind of up in the air right now. This is instability. And I feel like, you know, it seems like from this whole reading that it could be instability because someone doesn't know what they want. Because again, you have this energy of the Seven of Pentacles and the Ace of Swords. And I feel like you've been waiting for someone here with the Three of Wands. I mean, you do have the Six of Wands, so you're starting with victory. So no matter what your situation is, the Six of Wands is telling you that things are going to be fine. This is the energy of obstacles being removed. But it does seem like, for some reason, like there's been a lot of ups and downs around the sign of Aries. Or someone around you has kind of been very wishy-washy and maybe even giving you mixed signals. You have the Four of Cups, which means that someone has been, you know, kind of unhappy. And for some of you, it can be the person that maybe, you know, maybe asked for some space. Someone who's trying to figure out how they feel about you. It can also just be that you're very frustrated. This can definitely tie in with the Nine of Swords. You may be feeling almost like giving up. With the Four of Cups, you usually don't care anymore. You're in so much pain that you're almost kind of feeling numb about the whole situation. Just keep in mind that you have very positive cards here of leaving a difficult situation behind with the Six of Swords. I mean, this is right smack in the middle of the reading. A difficult time is being left behind. This is positive movement lined up with the Wheel of Fortune. And I mean, you also have the Ten of Swords. So the Ten of Swords does mean that the worst is behind you. After a 10 is an ace, which is a new beginning. But for some of you, this is, you know, just being unable to move on. It could definitely be if you have an ex that, you know, you can't forget about this person. You're unable to move on from something painful. But I mean, you also have the Empress right next to it, which means that you are receiving everything that you want. This is the ultimate relationship. It's just that for some of you, you can be waiting here with the Three of Wands. Okay, so let's go ahead and do the X spread. I've already shuffled the deck and we're going to be using this one right here. So let me just get these out of the way for you. And as always with the X spread, this can be someone that you had a long-term relationship with. It can also be someone maybe you just dated and you want to know if you're going to hear from them again or if they're still interested in you. So let's go ahead and get 6 cards. Show me the energies around Aries and their ex. You have the Five of Pentacles, Aries and their ex. Five of Wands, Aries and their ex. Three of Cups, Aries and their ex. Star, Aries and their ex. The World, Aries and their ex. The Nine of Cups. Okay, so kind of some difficult energy there, but then, you know, it's like everything comes to life, like right here, even right here. So, I mean, 2 fives. The fives always represent a problem or challenge. So I feel like for the sign of Aries, getting back together with your ex is not simple. I mean, it never is. But I feel like there's something complicated. It could definitely be maybe that they're in another relationship, or maybe you even moved on, but you've not forgotten about them. It's something like that. It can also just be that there was something very painful that happened between you. because you did have, I mean, here it is, you did have the Ten of Swords in the first spread that I did for you. And the Ten of Swords usually does mean that someone has been hurt, someone has been betrayed, stabbed in the back, and someone, you can't quite just shake off the pain. You're unable to move on, you're stuck. So this definitely can tie in with the Five of Pentacles, where, you know, this is just suffering. This is feeling blindsided by someone. So this could be that maybe you don't understand what happened with your ex. Maybe you don't understand why they broke up with you. Maybe you don't understand why they just walked away from you. To me, the Five of Pentacles is that kind of energy. You don't know what happened. You have the Five of Wands there, which means that there's some type of conflict for some of you. It can be, if you know that your ex left to be with someone else, because keep in mind that in the first spread that I did for you, there were so many people. I think there was every single court card in there. Cups, I mean, like water signs, earth signs, air signs, even another fire sign. So the Five of Wands can represent that you had competition. And perhaps, you know, with the Five of Pentacles, you were totally blindsided by this. You did not know this was going on. But you do have the Three of Cups. So the Three of Cups, this is you celebrating something. This is you celebrating a very positive change in the situation with your ex. So I feel like though there's a huge struggle there with the two fives. And again, it can be someone else that was interfering in your relationship. But if you know there was no cheating or anything like that with either one of you, the Five of Wands could just be that you and your ex, you're just very different. And you wanted very different things. And again, maybe the breakup took you by surprise and you were just completely blindsided by it, by the five, you know, with this energy of the Five of Pentacles. But the Three of Cups is saying this is you celebrating something very positive. So for most of you, like, there is a chance to get back together, especially with something like this in the reading, the Star. Because the Star does represent hopes and wishes being granted. So, I mean, ironically, right here, this is the wish card as well. So you kind of have like two cards of hopes and wishes being granted. You have the Major Arcana and the Minor Arcana. So for many of you, getting your ex back is like, it's not a pipe dream. It's not wishful thinking. It definitely can happen. You also have the World right in the middle of these two cards. So the World is really significant because it's between your hopes and wishes here. The World is saying that a cycle has to end. And for some of you, I'm getting that it could be a cycle where you repeatedly hurt each other, or maybe it was just your ex, you know, where there was a lot of, you kind of know, a lot of wishy-washy behavior, because you did have that energy in the first spread that I did for you. You had the Two of Pentacles, which showed me that maybe there was, you know, a lot of ups and downs in your relationship. Here it is. Perhaps, you know, perhaps there was a lack of stability in your relationship. Maybe it was a relationship that was off and on. The World can mean that behavior, that relationship that you had with your ex, that needs to end. You're going to have a brand new relationship that is much healthier, which is what I saw in the first spread as well. You had the Six of Swords right in the middle of the reading. And again, the Six of Swords means that there's movement in your love life, but it's actually a much healthier relationship for you. So again, this all definitely ties in with the World, where it's a new cycle for you and your ex, but it is surrounded by your hopes and wishes being granted. Where you're getting something much better than this energy of the Two of Pentacles, where it's a relationship that's off and on, where it's just a relationship where there's a whole bunch of instability and question marks, and everything's up in the air and you don't know where you stand. So I see you again with the Nine of Cups. This is the wish card, yes. It also represents you being extremely happy. So you have that same energy lined up here. The Three of Cups, happiness, joy, celebration, and the Nine of Cups. You being extremely happy with some type of development around you and your ex. So for many of you, it's very possible that you could be getting back with your ex in the month of May. You know what? Let me get a few more cards for you. Let's see what other kind of confirmation comes up. What other messages are there for the sign of Aries about their ex for May 2019? You have Death, which did come up in the first spread. Aries and their ex for May. The Queen of Pentacles. Aries and their ex for May. Justice, which was the main energy from the first spread. Aries and their ex for May. And the Four of Wands. So, you know, I've been talking about a relationship that's off and on, wishy-washy, instability, everything that comes with this card right here that was in the first spread. And then you get stability, the Four of Wands. This is a long-term relationship. This is a relationship that is on solid ground and very stable. And you also have Justice, which was the main energy from the first spread. Here it is. Same card, different deck. So for many of you, you're able to heal this relationship. Justice could be that someone is apologizing to you. It could be that your ex finally has clarity. That was a huge message for you in the first spread with the Ace of Swords. It was in the top row. So for some of you, maybe they just needed some time to figure things out. Here it is. You have the Ace of Swords right at the top. There's clarity. So, I mean, you also have an earth sign here. So that also came up in the first spread that I did for you. I'm pretty sure they were all in there. So this would be an earth sign. Taurus, Virgo, or Capricorn. Male or female, sun, moon, or rising. This can be your ex. It can be you. It can even be someone who interfered in your relationship, or someone maybe who even influenced your relationship in some way. And death, which also came up in the first spread that I did for you. So death is just kind of telling you there can be a huge change in this relationship. This means that there is something huge that changes. Here it is. Same card, different deck. Death. There's the possible energy here of like a huge transformation, an ending and a new beginning around the relationship with your ex. And again, with Justice being here, and it's a repeat card, the transformation could be that they're asking you back. They're asking for forgiveness. Clarity, you know, these are all messages from the first spread that we have to keep in mind. They finally know how they feel. I mean, I feel like Aries could be extremely happy in the month of May if you're wanting an ex back. I feel like everything is there. Everything is there for you to get this person back. I feel like you've been waiting, because you did have the Three of Wands in the first spread. You've been waiting for someone to return, or you gave someone some space to figure things out. And I don't think you're going to be disappointed. I mean, for some of you, here it is. The Three of Wands. This is waiting. You've been waiting for that perfect timing to get them back, or waiting for them to want you back. And again, you're usually not waiting in vain with this energy. So I feel like you're either this person is returning in the month of May, or sometimes this carries over for like the next 3 months. So just kind of keep in mind that I see you getting exactly what you want here. And for some of you, you're definitely kind of receiving an apology. Okay, Aries, this has been your love reading for May 2019. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll speak to you again next month.